I was thinking on the drive here about my connection to India, because I know I'm not Indian, but I do love India. And I was trying to think, what is the story I could tell that could connect me to India? And so in 2010, I went on a backpacking trip around India with my little brother. We went to Goa and to Kerala and to Tamil Nadu and saw some wonderful places. And for about a week, my little brother had 4 of his friends joined for the trip. And one of those friends is James Keogh, whose stage name is Vance Joy. And so I met Vance Joy in India with my brother. And I had met him earlier, but it was the first time we'd really spent time together. And so, but at that time he wasn't making music. He was studying at university and just kind of, exploring the world. And so in 2012, my brother called me and he said, hey, James has recorded a song that I think you should hear. And I'm sure you can relate when you have been in the music business, your uncle wants to give you a demo of someone from their office or, all these stories. But I could tell how serious he was. And I said, okay, send me the song. He sends me the song and I press play and it was Riptide.
Wow.
So this song that's had billions of streams all of a sudden was in my office and the song was playing. And my life changed in that moment. I've told this story before, but I actually stood up and shut my door because I didn't want anyone else to hear it, including my own staff, because I needed a moment to figure out what to do because I was that excited about this song. I believe you might have had an experience like this in your career. And so at that point, the business had about 10 staff. We just had our first #1 record in Australia with a metal band called the Amity Affliction. And I thought I was on top of the world. I can't get any better than this. This is me forever. Me and my 10 people and my metal bands and my punk bands, we're gonna do great. And then all of a sudden Riptide lands on my desk. And the next day I'm sitting with Vance Joy and my wife and I started managing him. We moved to America. We helped him have a multi-platinum record in America and in many other countries in the world. He toured the world with Taylor Swift. And so from there, that gave me the insight of just how much bigger the music industry was than what I had experienced. And not to say that small is bad. Small, every size is great, but I got a new insight. I got a new network. I also got to see the benefit of the success from a financial perspective. And so rather than taking all that money and just buying things that I didn't need, I took most of that money and invested it in growing the business, employing teams in America and Canada and in Europe, and growing the team in Australia, and essentially just having the vision to how can we create more value and provide more services to our artists. So that's the first 10 years of my career was quite slow and steady and small. And then the last 10 years, I guess, really sort of took off in a lot of ways.
Glad to know that one of the most important trip was in India, which kind of, led to this change.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you have a lot to give back to India. And I'll ask you a question which almost every independent artist will have in their mind. That if we have to do a collaboration with Vance Joy or Tesh Sultana or any of the artists in your roster, what is the best way to approach it in which the chances of happening are much, much higher and we do not end up disturbing you or your artists?
Yeah, it's a good question. I was talking with Sid about this, our mutual friend, and I think the key word in artist is art, or one of the key words, I think. And because ultimately we're making art. And I think if you and I bring an artist and put them together, say, hey, write a song, it might work, but it probably won't. Whereas if those artists somehow connected more organically, the chances of that working is much more high. So you can, of course, email me or any manager, but people like me are getting, and people like you are getting lots of emails from people saying, hey, can I do this? Can I do that? But it's how can you get on the radar of the artist? You know, how can you reach out to them in some way? Because if you feel like you've really got something that is going to get their attention, I think just reach out. But it's challenging because, as you said, a lot of people are trying to do this.